We will be talking about basophil and mast cells. Okay, as we already know that pluripotent stem cells is going to form myeloid stem cell and lymphoid stem cell. The myeloid stem cells is going to form the progenitor cells, and these progenitor cells will be neutrophil progenitor cell, eosinophil progenitor cell, basophil, etc. Now, the WBC will be consisting of granulocytes and agranulocytes. In the granulocytes, you will remember NEB, neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil. Agranulocytes will be monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocytes is going to form macrophage and basophil is going to form mast cell. Now, basophil and mast cells are the effector cells of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, which mean they mediate the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. So, we will be explaining mast cells and basophil. Now, mast cells and basophil, as we already know that this basophil is going to form mast cells. The location for basophils, from this B you will remember blood, and from this B you will remember bilobed nucleus. It have bilobed nucleus and large blue granules. Okay, because eosinophil also have bilobed nucleus, but eosinophil will be having red granules and basophils have blue granules. Now, the mast cells will be having a small nucleus, and this is one lobe nucleus, okay, and also large blue granules. Now, both of these, basophil and mast cells, both are the cells of type 1 hypersensitivity reactions. Now, you already know that the location for the mast cells is epithelium, tissue, and mucosa, and it has small nucleus with large blue granules, and these are the effector cells of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Now, the most important thing regarding mast cells are causes of degranulation. So, IgE, which I will explain in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. IgEs can cause degranulations of the mast cells. Anaphylatoxin, which is C3A, C5A, which is released from leukocyte, and this is the part of complement system. Interleukin 8, which is secreted by macrophage, can also lead to degranulation of the mast cells. And interleukin 8 and C5A is also neutrophil chemoattracting factor. Now you read this you can see this pestal IgE, C3A, C5A, and interleukin lead. They will lead to degranulation of the mast cells, and there will be secretion from the mast cells, that is histamine, SRSA, ECFA, okay, but mostly that is histamine, okay, but most prominently that is histamine. We will explain it one by one. Now let us talk about histamine. Histamine is actually secreted by mast cells, okay, immediately, and histamine is formed from the amino acid which is called histidine, and as their secretion occur immediately, so this is responsible for immediate or transient phase of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, and action of it lead to vasodilation. Because of vasodilation, there will be vascular permeability, increase in vascular permeability, which will lead to vascular leakage. So we will explain everything like responsible for all symptoms of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction: redness, flushing, wheezing, itching, worm, nasal congestion, rhinitis, conjunctivitis, vein urticaria, and the base of this vascular permeability or vasodilations. Okay, if we see this here, this is the blood vessels. If I lead to vasodilation, then it means the space between endothelium will increase. Now there will be leakage of vascular fluid will be occur. The leakage will be occur. Because of the leakage, there will be swelling. Okay, and as we dilate the vessels, like you see here, from this vessel I lead to vasodilation. So because of vasodilations, the space between endothelium will increase, so vascular leakage will be occur. Now if I dilate the vessel, the blood flow to this vessel will be increase, and as the blood flow increase to this blood vessels, there will be redness, there will be flushing, there will be worm, and because of vascular leakage, there will be swelling, urticaria, raised area on the skin, okay, and because of vascular permeability or because of vasodilation, the blood flow to this vessel will be now increase. As we increase the blood flow, the velocity of the blood in that vessels now will be decreased. The velocity here and the velocity here. Here is the velocity more, and here the velocity will be less as the diameter increase, okay. And so if the blood velocity decrease, there will be blood stasis, and that will lead to blood clot, and then they can lead to thrombus, okay. So this is how you will explain everything on the base of vasodilation. Now, SRSA, slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis. So the production of it is occur after 4 to 8 hours of the release of histamine. So SRSA is responsible for the late symptom of allergy and the most potent bronchoconstrictor. And SRSA is consisting of prostaglandin and leukotriene. I already uploaded another video on prostaglandin, so make sure you watch it, okay? Now the symptom will be bronchoconstriction because there will be smooth muscle contraction which will lead to bronchoconstriction. There will be smooth muscle contraction in GIT which will lead to increased intestinal motility, so there will be cramps and there will be diarrhea. There will be pain because of B. Pain because of B, this is the mnemonic, like bradykinin and prostaglandin E2 will lead to pain. So prostaglandin will lead to pain, will lead to the pain. Okay, I will explain this pain by another way too. Like you see here, this is histamine, there will be H1 receptor per histamine, there will be H2 receptor per histamine. H1 receptor, there will be smooth muscle contraction, and smooth muscle contraction in GIT will lead to constipation and cramp, and smooth muscle contraction in the respiratory will lead to asthma and decreased lung capacity. There will be also increased production of mucus in the nasal and bronchi, mucosa, okay? Like as I already told you that mast cells is present in the mucosa. So in the mucosa, they will secrete histamine, and that histamine will lead to increase the production of mucus in nasal and bronchial mucosa, which will lead to congestion, okay? And from the sensory nerve end, there will be also secretion of histamine, which will lead to itching and pain. But here you can also explain these on the base of SRSA. And you have to remember, this is the cause of many death due to asthma before we knew it, okay? SRSA is actually consisting of prostaglandin and leukotriene. Now let us explain. This is somehow part of the regulations to regulate the histamines. ECFA, eosinophil chemoattractant factor, which is also secreted after 4 to 8 hours after the release of histamine. So then this eosinophil will be invited to that area, and eosinophil will secrete histaminase, which will degrade or which will destroy the histamine. So we now have to control, okay? As our body is secreting histamine, we have to control the histamine. For the control of histamine, the eosinophil will come to that area, and so eosinophil will secrete histaminase, then aryl sulfatase, which will break down SRSA, which is slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis. And there will be also release of heparin, inhibit the clot formations, okay? To inhibit the clot formation, as I already told you that if we increase, there will be increase in blood flow. So as after vasodilation, the blood velocity will decrease. Blood velocity will be decreased. There will be blood stasis, which can form the blood clot and thrombus. But we have to inhibit this thrombus formation because of histamine. So the eosinophil will secrete heparin, which inhibit the clot formation, thrombus, and clotting factor. Eosinophil will also secrete major basic protein which kill the parasite and host cell. I will explain this when I am talking about the eosinophil, okay? Now, there are two types of receptors for histamine, H1 receptor and H2. H2 receptors are present in the stomach, which is in the parietal cell, so it increases the HCl production or proton formation, okay, acidity of the stomach, H2 receptor. And now H1 receptor.